Good afternoon, and thank you for attending this press conference today. I have called this press conference to give an update on counting and the timing for the return of writs for the 2025 Bougainville General Election. Polling was conducted in Atos in 4th of September and in most other locations on the 5th of September, and where required, additional time for polling was made on the 6th and the 8th of September. Obec would like to thank Bougainvilleans for demonstrating their commitment to a democratic future by coming out to vote. After polling, Obec officials securely transported the ballots to the 4 counting centers across Bougainville. All ballot boxes were retrieved and stored at secure storages, and the police have provided constant security at the count centers. I am grateful for the commitment shown by our police, especially as this process took place at the same time as the PNG's 50th anniversary celebrations. Although we anticipated that counting would start on the 9th of September, there was an adjustment to the timeline to provide sufficient time for safety delivery of materials to the count centers and resolve air transport issues for the return of election materials to the Bougainvilleans outside Bougainville. As a result, counting started on Friday, the 12th of September, and continues as I speak. In our preparations for this election, we anticipated some of the challenges faced in previous elections and have worked hard to ensure that count is conducted in a transparent, peaceful, and calm environment. I would like to thank our team for their professionalism and all candidates and the scrutineers for their participation since the beginning of this process. I can assure you of Obec's commitment to deliver accurate and transparent results in line with the powers conferred to me. I will now provide an update on the counting process so far. For the presidential seat, first preference counting for all North and Central constituencies have been completed. We are now conducting the first preference count for the South constituencies. In the North, counting has been completed, and the winning candidates declared for 6 constituencies are Tonsu, Tewa, Keriaka, Nisan, Taunitatiop, and Atos. For Central, counting has been completed and winning candidates declared for 6 constituencies, including Rao, Rotokas, Barawa, Asikopantorao, Evotorao, and Yoro. In the South, counting has been completed and the winning candidates declared for 10 constituencies, including Torokina, Bolave, Lato, Baba, Motunahuyonu, Kopi, Ramu, Makis, Baubake, and recently Lule. For the regional seats, counting for the regional seats for women and former combatants is progressing in line with the counting for the open constituencies. I would like to give an update on the return of the writs. Our priority is the timely establishment of a new House of Representatives, and to achieve this, the scrutiny and counting of votes must be carried out with the highest standard of accuracy and transparency. This process requires time. After careful consideration, I must advise that there is insufficient time to return the writs by the 22nd of September. Therefore, in line with the Bougainville Elections Act Section 146 and 147, and under public notice, I have decided it is necessary to extend the date for the return of writs until the 6th of October. Seats will continue to be declared as their counts are concluded in the lead up to this date. We remain committed to ensuring that counting continues in a timely, orderly, and transparent manner, and we will complete this process as soon as possible. We are now approaching the finishing line of what has been a transparent and peaceful election process. I want to sincerely thank Obec election officials across Bougainville for their dedication, resilience, and delivering this election under challenging circumstances. I also extend my gratitude to the candidates, their scrutineers, as well as the observers and media for their patience, engagement, and oversight. Your commitment has been vital, and together we are bringing this election to a successful conclusion. Thank you once again, and I will now take your questions or comments. Thank you.
Commissioner, you explain section 146, 147 yan. Just explain briefly Tasol about what law any talk about extension or powers plea on the this section as commissioner na you come up with this plan decision extended.
Respond to question in terms of the powers conferred to the Commissioner under Section 147. Basically talks about the extension of time and it also subject to subsection 2 and 3 within 1 month before or any time during polling period for an election in a constituency or portion of the constituency. The Commissioner may, where he is of the opinion that it is necessary to do so, provide for the extending the time for A, holding the election or for returning the writs or meeting any difficulty which might otherwise interfere with the due course of the election. So that's basically what Section 147 we talked about. And empowering Commissioner rectify or remedy the procedure issue one time timely delivery of results by the fixed date returning rate. So 147 is basically a remedy long rectifying any problem on the election not come up on time, not delivering rates on time. So that's basically it's in there. And I guess leaders of Bougainville, they're wise enough to put that in the law because they know that most elections won't be a smooth ride. There's no challenges. They were wise enough to put that section in the law to empower the Commissioner to make that necessary decision. They have a response.
Commissioner, not regional council time, been facing some of the challenges too. Not you talk really about this land. Anong luglugli ka? Some consent mo or one kind or legal disruption of semyana. One something law talk long candidate stop around counting values.
Thank you. I think there are two parts to your question. One, to answer the first part of your question, in terms of disruptions to counting, that happens in all election process. That will happen. But there are procedures and laws that guides the process of counting, and to make sure there is limited interference with counting. In fact, the law gives the power to the returning officer, and we can receive complaints, but it's ultimately up to the returning officer managing the count to say you may suspend or you may continue. What we've been doing so far is we've been accommodating consents from candidates from scrutinies because we would want everyone to be happy on time of counting. But that is not to say we are trying to compromise our stance. As we all know, Obec is a constitutional office and it's meant to be the neutral, independent body. And therefore, kami like deal with the issues of counting centers, we play scalable issues belong. If we see that weight belong complaint belong, ARO has the power to continue with counting. In terms of candidates standing around the count center, and mitambu, candidates can start close to the time belong counting because they already have their scrutineers representing them. One scrutineer per candidate attending a count center. Only sanap long hap and mitambu. So if candidates are just standing around within the vicinity of the counting center, maybe appeal long or can start close to the counting center. Lara mo scrutineers employee staff of civil council. Then I will work in this on your behalf. Anything that you worry long, bring him through long, only bring him become long. Returning officer. Unless you have a genuine concern, you do that in writing or verbal, you approach him returning officer. And then returning officer can address him in concern. So I believe that's a response to the request.
You got consent, kind of I mean, you got 1 more week extension in a number of counts still remaining constituencies. Got consent by mga repetition long. When may come up with indeed disrupted and stalled counting.
What we're doing is we're monitoring the process or the progress of the count. So far, after the delays, I think there were like 2.5 days delays in counting. We lost 2.5 days, almost 3 days, just attending to concerns and disputes from some of the candidates, some of the constituency. So we were losing 2.5 days, almost 3 days. So it's a setback, but we are now doing catch up with the process in terms of make up for the time loss. We're doing all we can to make sure counting and proceed hurry. There is nothing stopping people, supposedly they might still be problems, issues that will be raised by candidates or scrutineers in the next couple of days. So we anticipate that, but we are also prepared to try and mitigate those as they come. The other good thing is that once the returning officer may addressing all of issues, similar issues may come up behind. The returning officer will always refer to the precedents that was set in terms of the decisions that were made, and therefore the candidates and the scrutineer would like to maintain consistency as well. We would like to maintain consistency in terms of our decisions in counting center. Suppose araw may recommendation or some dispute, like in raising the disputed court of returns, court of disputed returns, they'll do that. Otherwise, araw recommendation will not